Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youths and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery, why they whitewash our history, keep dividing is their plan? All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. So I'm in a bad mood this Tuesday, so I'm going to be in a bad mood for the next 34 minutes or however. I apologize. I don't apologize. I've said from the outset, if you watch this show or listen to this show every freaking day, I come into this studio in whatever mood I'm in, baby, and that mood carries me. That mood I'm in will dictate my show. And today I'm in a bad mood. I'm pissed off. I went to bed in a bad mood last night. I'm listening to a congressman I respect, Jim Himes, Democrat out of Connecticut. Good guy, good, smart Democrat. I respect him. He's on CNN last night, and the CNN host asks him about something about the Iran war, clearly something Trump lied about, is lying about. The host, Aaron Burnett, asked Jim Himes about this disinformation, this lie from Trump. And Jim Himes, Congressman Jim Himes, kind of chuckles and says, well, with President Trump, it's hard to keep up with what he says. And he chuckled. No fucking chuckle. And no, it's hard to keep up with Trump says. He lied. He lied again. Just say it. Democrats, say it. He lies every time he opens his mouth. Democrats, say it. Man, if I was on that show last night and Aaron Burnett asked me that question, I'd have the tone I've got right now. Excuse me, Aaron, he's lying. President Trump lies every fucking time he opens his mouth. He's lying about everything having to do with this war in Iran, this war of choice, this war he started. He's lying, Aaron. What else do you want me to say? And it just set me off in a bad mood that here's a smart Democratic member of Congress who chuckles at a Trump lie and won't say it's a Trump lie and just says something kind of cute like, oh, it's hard to keep up with what Trump says. No, he's lying. And then I woke up in the same mood, and I'm so, we all should be so pissed off that the president of the United States, the president of the greatest, most decent, most good country ever in the history of mankind, the president of the United States right now is lying about dead school children. Damn it, that should piss all of us off. I'm having a hard time moving past this. And look. I've been screaming it from my mountaintop forever. I understand that Donald Trump lies about everything. I know that. I understand that Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth. I know that. I know Trump lies as he breathes. I get all of that. So no Trump lie should shock any of us. But Donald Trump is lying about dead Iranian school children. He's lying about dead school children. The supposed leader of the free world. And even look, there are still a few really good, solid reporters on Fox News. Jennifer Griffin being one of them. Keith, we've got that quote of hers, that clip of Fox News analyst Jennifer Griffin said, "I think the president knows that the U.S. bombed that elementary school. All the evidence says it. All the reporting says it. We bombed that Iranian school. We killed those Iranian school children. Everybody in our military knows it, in our government knows it. And Trump lies about it. Everybody around Trump knows it. And look, let me be clear again. Do I think the United States of America purposely bombed an elementary school? Hell no, right? This kind of shit happens in war. I'm sure it was an accident. That's not the point of what I'm saying. I'm saying the president of the United States is lying about dead school children. How fucking low can you get? There's no excusing this. He should be called out every single time. Every member of the media should just bombard him with this. He was in front of the media yesterday, and he was asked about this. Like everybody around you knows, it's been being investigated, and all the reporting is, and it's clear that we probably did it. Your military, sir, knows it. How come you're the only one that ain't saying it? Keith, do we have that clip?
There's footage that shows an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I
for
haven't
that strike?
seen it. And I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more.
Stop, Keith.
Iran or
Stop. He's lying. By the way, what a fucking coward. The president of the United States stands in front of the world, and everybody knows, I'm sure he knows, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News is right, he knows, he's been told, and he lies to the world. He throws the rest of the world under the bus. Well, it might have been another country with a Tomahawk missile. He is the biggest fucking coward that's ever lived. And there he says it again, a lie. Well, Iran's got some Tomahawk missiles. No, they don't. That's a lie. Iran doesn't have any Tomahawks. None. Not one. He's lying. But not one reporter called him out on that lie. And just pull yourself back for a moment. Bad shit happens in a war. We shouldn't be in this war. This is an illegal war, but we're in this war. We started this war. This is a war of choice. Bad, unfortunate shit happens in wars. Mistakes happen. Accidents happen. You own up to it. You admit it. You don't lie to the world. You don't throw other countries under the bus. You don't lie about countries who you say have tomahawks who don't have tomahawks. What a despicable, despicable coward. I know he lies about everything. I know he's lied his whole entire life. For some fucking reason, this one sets me off. Dead school children? You're going to pin that on somebody else, you fucking coward? You're going to pin that on one of our allies? You coward? You're going to pin that on Iran? They don't even have a tomahawk? Not one? Every American should be ashamed. No matter where you stand on this war, you should be ashamed. I mean, this is something we should all find common ground on. There are a couple things with this war against Iran that we should all find common ground on. One is Lindsey Graham is a douche. Can we all just acknowledge that? Lindsey Graham is a fucking douche. My God, if I have to, I'm watching Lindsey's mug on my TV screen 5-6 times a day. He's just salivating. He's just drooling over more war, more killing. You know what somebody ought to do? You know, put a uniform on Lindsey, give him a gun, put him on a plane, parachute him into Iran, and let Lindsey fight for the rest of his life. I'm so sick of, can we all agree, no matter where you stand on the war, I'm sick of, we're all sick of Lindsey Graham just cheerleading for more war and more killing. The other thing we should agree on is that the President of the United States shouldn't lie about shit like this. The President of the United States shouldn't lie about dead school children. The President of the United States ought to man up. Hey, all you MAGA brothers, all you big Trump supporters, this is the fucking opposite of what a man does. Donald Trump's a puss. Donald Trump is a wussy. He's a coward, right? Never, ever accepts responsibility for anything he does. That is the opposite of a real man. Trump ain't a real man. He's the antithesis of a real man. Dead school children, hundreds of dead school children, and he blames it on somebody else. What a fucking coward. In front of the world. Man, even if you believe in this war, have the fucking decency, have the balls, man up and condemn this lie. Please. Fucking concentration camps in America. No segue. Fucking concentration camps in America. We found out yesterday 11 people have died so far this year. If you've got that headline, Keith, thank you, brother. You're way ahead of me. 11 people have died in these in these concentration camps so far this year. We are on pace to set a brand new world record. 11 people dying in ICE detention centers so far this year. Hell, 3 died in just 4 days in early March. February 27th, Alberto Reyes died. March 1st, Pejaman Nafabadi died. March 2nd, Emmanuel Damas died in ICE detention centers, in these detention centers. 11 have died so far this year. This follows, by the way, 31 people who died in ICE detention centers last year. That was a 2-decade high. In America, going on in America. We have concentration camps in America. We've got judges left and right condemning the conditions of these detention centers. Just yesterday, Keith, that tweet, the other judge, another judge, thank you, boss. A federal judge found unsanitary conditions at a temporary ICE holding facility in Baltimore, joining judges in New York, LA, Minnesota, ordering changes. This is going on all over the country. Thanks, Keith. Judge after judge after judge determining that these detention centers, these holding facilities, they are unsanitary. They're unfit for humans. Fix them. Fix them. Do something now. Judges are ordering. DHS utterly ignoring these judges. Had a Maryland senator, I think yesterday, Keith, she went to an ICE detention center in thank you, sir. I'm so, you know what? Keep this up for a minute, Keith. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm pissed off, and I've had way too much coffee this morning. But my God, we have concentration camps in America, these humongous detention centers all over the country, and we're building a gazillion of them every fucking day. To do what? To do well. Guess, think. Right? All of these detention centers, all of this space. What is the ultimate goal here? Point is, this is happening in America. It shouldn't happen in America. This must never happen in America. Senator Angela Albrook from Maryland visited that ICE holding facility in Baltimore. She said what she saw was beyond disturbing. Inhuman, she said. Filthy. Mold everywhere. People, children, sick. We know people are dying, children sick, eating moldy food, hundreds sharing one toilet, hundreds sharing one shower. I should be more pissed about this. We all should be more pissed about this than Donald Trump lying about dead school children. Because, look, Trump is who he is. And we elected the absolute worst of us. That's on us. But right now in America, this is going on in America. Thanks, Keith. This is going on right now in America. We are housing human beings in conditions that no human being should be held. Concentration camps. People are dying. People are getting sick. People are going hungry. Children are being traumatized. In this country. In America. I do my best to compartmentalize and focus on certain things every day. But obviously, you know that what ICE is doing, what DHS is doing, has been a big issue of mine for so long, a big issue for a lot of people, which is why we brought Paxos to the fore right there, Paxos.app. Because to me, this points a finger at every fucking one of us, every single American. I don't want Americans to turn away from this. Like, I know I got so many friends and I got family members and I got others, man, who can't be bothered with this shit. They can't be bothered with the fact that people are dying in ICE concentration camps around the country. They got to make some money. They got to prepare for their vacation. They got spring baseball practice coming up, whatever. I love to put this stuff in front of all of them because this is forcing all of us to answer right now, is this the kind of fucking country we want to be? And damn you and shame on all of you who would turn away from this. This isn't happening in some foreign country. Right now in America, and we're building more. We got more warehouse space. We got more concentration camp space to hold the worst of the worst. This goes way beyond the worst of the worst. This is to detain every immigrant in this country. This is to disappear every brown and black immigrant in this country. Then this is to go after every single immigrant in this country. And this is ultimately to house American citizens who speak out and protest and fight back against what ICE is doing. Make no mistake, man. There are too many warehouses being built. There are too damn many concentration camps being built to say we're just going to house criminal gangbangers from Venezuela. No American should turn away from this. No American should be able to turn away from this. Every American should visit an ICE detention center. A field trip for every fucking American. Go visit an ICE detention center and see how these people are living and being treated, and face head on the conditions that your fellow human beings are being held in. Not violent criminals, 82-year-old Latino women who've been here for 30 years, 11, 12, 13-year-old immigrant children who came here legally to claim asylum with their parents are being held here and getting sick and being traumatized in these detention centers. Every fucking American should have to take a field trip and see for themselves. And maybe that would wake up every damn American. And every damn American then in November would say, fuck no, this must not be who we are. This must never happen. Never happen in America. I got one more thing to talk about. And this is a righteously good story. This is potentially a righteously good ending. Keith, that Aaron Reichland post about thank you, sir. This is unbelievable. I want you leaving me this morning on a bit of a high note. So I'm going to give it to you. You remember last year, you remember all the DHS, Donald Trump, ICE lawlessness. You remember the thousands and thousands of people who were grabbed off the streets, illegally detained, and then disappeared, never to be heard from again. No due process, no trial. Fuck the Constitution. Remember how that went on. It's still going on. But man, when we first faced it last year, the stories were hideous and despicable. You remember there were about 137 or so Venezuelans. Keep this up for a minute, Keith. Somewhere in the midst of all of this lawlessness by our government, there were 137 Venezuelan immigrants in this country, none of whom who had criminal records. They were grabbed out of Home Depot parking lots. They were grabbed out of 7-Eleven parking lots. They were grabbed off of farms and kitchens all over this country. About 137 of them. They were grabbed, illegally detained, no due process. And then they were held at Seacoast temporarily. And then vis-a-vis a prisoner swap with Venezuela, these 137 Venezuelans were disappeared into that worst of all, most dangerous of all prisons down in Venezuela. 137 of them or so. Illegally yanked out of this country and dumped in one of the most dangerous prisons on the planet. Well, look at this. Of those 137 Venezuelans, 90 have been contacted. 30, like 88 of the 90 who've been contacted have decided to risk indefinite detention in the United States to come back to this country and prove their innocence. Eventually, lawyers and judges determined that these 137, no way, no how did they belong in that dangerous prison. They were gotten out of that dangerous prison down in Venezuela, that dangerous prison that we put them into. And now out of those 137, so far, the ACLU's contacted 90 of them. And almost every one of the 90 has decided to come back to America to risk permanent detention in the United States to prove that they were innocent, that they were in this country legally, and that the United States government grabbed them, detained them, and disappeared them without any due process, without any trial. In fact, of the 90 or so, 22 of these men that Trump sent down to that El Salvador prison, these Venezuelans, 22 of them are coming back here to go to trial to prove their innocence. And if found guilty, they risk permanent detention here, rest of their lives, or they risk permanent detention back in Venezuela. They risk going back to that most dangerous prison down in El Salvador. I think I said the prison earlier was in Venezuela, down in El Salvador. These were 137 Venezuelan men that Trump disappeared into that dangerous prison in El Salvador, not even their own country. Look at that bravery. Man, right? 22 of them, another 68 are going to submit written petitions making the case for their innocence. 22 are coming back here and will stand trial to prove that they were innocent, to prove that they were denied due process, to prove that they were denied a trial. You talk about fucking bravery. You talk about teaching us a lesson. Trump and all the cowards he's got working for him. Thanks, Keith. Here's what bravery looks like. You're a Venezuelan dude. You're dumped in an El Salvador prison to die. Eventually, you're let out because of the legal process down there and here. Man, you can go back to Venezuela, just live in Venezuela for the rest of your life. You're from Venezuela, not El Salvador. But no, you were here in this country. You wanted to live in this country. You came here legally to this country. So you're willing to get on a damn plane and come back to this country and stand trial just to prove your innocence, knowing that if you can't prove your innocence and you're found guilty, you're in a heap of trouble. Worst of the worst, huh? Sounds like the fucking best of the best. Sounds like these 22, and actually all 90, the 68 who are submitting written petitions for their innocence, they want to come back too. These 90 Venezuelan men who this country illegally sent to one of the world's most dangerous prisons. These 90 Venezuelan men know a hell of a lot more than Trump or Stephen Miller or Christine Nome or Mark Mullen-Weymouth or whatever his name is. who will be the new ICE, the new DHS head. These 90 Venezuelans know America so much better than Trump and everybody who works for Trump. These 90 Venezuelan men understand and love this country and believe in what this country's supposed to stand for way the fuck better than Trump does and the people who work for Trump. They're cowards. These 90 Venezuelan men, and they've only contacted 90. They'll eventually, ACLU will get to all 137. The numbers will probably grow. These Venezuelan men who were treated so poorly by our government, man, they are way the fuck more American than Donald Trump is. And the people who work for Donald Trump. Because these men, these Venezuelan men, they understand America. They believe in America. They aspire to be American. There. Hats off to them. There's your good news story of the day. I end every show by saying, be brave. Right now, think of these 22 Venezuelan men who are coming back here to risk it all to prove their innocence, right? When I say be brave like that. Thanks for listening. My Substack, Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. Check it out. And if you'd like to subscribe, please do. If you want to shoot me an email about anything, please do. One word, the Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Ain't going to apologize for my mood. It is what it is. Have a good Tuesday and be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.